Welcome back, everybody. My name is Brian, aka The Crazy Adventurist. This video is going to just be about my favorite images from 2020. Fortunately enough, I was still able to travel during 2020. When everything went downhill in March, I was unsure of where things were going to go with my photography. But fortunately enough, I was still able to travel and go to several different national parks, as well as several different states this year. Notably, I went to southern Utah to visit all the national parks out there, and I got to go up to Glacier National Park in Montana, as well as visit some cool places in New Mexico. Those are probably my biggest notable trips. But anyways, let's get into the pictures. So the first picture of the year that is my most favorite is from early February. A friend had posted on Facebook about the full moon that was coming that week. I think it was the weekend that it was coming. And I commented something like, "Oh, that's super cool." And they said, "Oh, it'd be perfect for like night hikes under the full moon." And I said, "I'm so down, but you know, I want to be able to take pictures of the full moon." And they're like, "Oh yeah, perfect." So talking about that got my mind running, and I had made a goal to myself that I wanted to shoot the moon more in 2020. And it got my mind running, and I was like, what could I shoot in front of the moon that would give some scale to the moon and also be as bright as the moon? And there is a cross in Palm Desert, California. You can hike to it, and at night it's lit up. So I got off of work that night after I got that idea, and I drove straight to the cross. And I pulled up photo pills, and I checked everything. I lined up the moon, and it was like the next morning, I think, that it was going to set right behind the cross, and everything lined up, and I was just so amazed. So it wasn't the morning after the night I went, but the next morning. So that morning I woke up at like 4 a.m., and I drove over there, and I started setting up, and little by little, as the morning grew on and the moon started to set, I had to move further and further down. And when I finally got to the finishing point, it lined up directly behind the cross. And I was just taking pictures over and over again. And once I got those pictures done, I went straight home and I got to editing, because I knew a picture like that had to be edited and posted the same day as the full moon. It's not something you can sit on like I usually do with my work. So I got that posted onto Facebook and Instagram, and it went viral. I mean, it was one of my most well-performing photos of all time. I think collectively, out of all the pages that shared it in the Coachella Valley where I live, I think I got like 15,000 likes or something. It was actually crazy. But that picture is still one of my most favorite, and I'm still surprised I got it, because it was my first time ever filming something like that. I'm just looking at my pictures that I have in the list. So the next image is from March. In March, I had planned a Florida road trip, and I drove out to Florida, and on the way I drove through Arizona, New Mexico. I went to White Sands, I went to Carlsbad Caverns, and then the second day of my trip for sunset, I went to Big Bend National Park. And along the way on to Big Bend National Park, going through New Mexico as well as Texas, there was all these beautiful stalks that were sprouting out of the plants out there. I don't know what plants they are, but they're just beautiful stalks with the flowers and sprouts and whatever. And I kept looking for a composition as I'm driving, because I'm like, if I see something, I'm just going to pull over and take the picture. So I never ended up seeing anything. So I just kept going. I went into Big Bend, and it was my first time to that national park. I had no idea what it was going to look like, because I really didn't look at pictures beforehand. But I got there, and kind of in the middle of the park where the visitor center is these giant mountains behind it. And I went to the left of the visitor center and driving alongside the mountains, and I see all those stalks right in front of the mountains, and there's these just big clouds behind it, storm clouds. And I was like, there's my shot. That's the shot I was looking for. I pulled over, grabbed my cameras, ran over, started shooting, and this is the image I came up with. And I'm like, it couldn't have been more perfect. I mean, there was a reason I definitely didn't see those stalks anywhere else, because I wouldn't have made it in time to shoot this composition. And next image is in, let's see, April. So, there is, up in the mountains behind where I live, there is a little community. I don't know who lives there. I think they're really nice houses, but somebody had started building a, I call it like a doomsday bunker. It's this just big concrete building, like 3 or 4 stories tall, and it's huge. And apparently I think that people went bankrupt or they had to sell it or something, but it was never finished. So me and my friends went up there to check it out, and I'll put pictures and videos up showing what it looks like so you see. But we went up there to check it out, and we're just looking around and looking at it and taking pictures and stuff. Didn't go in too much just because it's for sale, so we didn't know if we'd get in trouble or not. But anyways, as we're leaving, these storm clouds are coming in over the hills behind it. And everything just kind of lined up perfectly, and I snapped a picture with my phone. I was like, oh, this looks really good. I'm going to grab my camera. I didn't have my tripod at the time, so the picture isn't technically perfect, but it's still one of my most favorite images just because of the way the light was shining in from the side and the peaks were all lit up, and it just lined up perfectly. It makes me happy when I take a picture of something that not everybody else shoots, and this is one of those pictures where, you know, it was something nobody else would go out there to shoot. It was just those hills, and everything just came together for it. Now the next image is in April as well. It was out in Trona, California. My friend Ty had invited me and my friend Selena to go out and shoot with him out there at Trona. I think he was shooting Milky Way, and I'm not a huge Milky Way fan, so we just kind of went out there for sunset and stuff. And if I remember correctly, there was like no clouds in the sky when we got there. I think there was a few, but we didn't know what they were gonna do. So we were kind of just shooting, and you'll see some of the pictures how they're just blue skies. But I was shooting, I was really happy with the images I was getting. And then Ty and Selena had went off with another friend off to the side to go shoot something else. And I was like, I'm just gonna stay here and shoot this composition because this is where the clouds are, what little was up there, and I'll see if this works out. So I continued shooting and shooting, and then all of a sudden I see like this one cloud starting to light up, and it's like this S shape, but it's all the way over here, and I'm shooting this way, and I'm like, okay, I got to get to that cloud. So I grabbed my camera and my tripod, and I start booking it into the hills, and I was laughing because I thought that they would have seen me, but they didn't. But I get up in the hills, and I come over the top of one of the hills, and I come down, and there's these three, what are they called? Tufas? I think they're called tufas. There's three of those spires from Trona, and they lined up perfectly with that S shape. So I'm just sitting there like moving around it, just taking pictures, trying to keep that S shape lined up to the three pinnacles, and I call it the Trinity. And this picture is just one of my most favorite pictures of the year. I mean, the light lined up perfectly, the sky lined up perfectly, everything was perfect. I'm extremely happy with it. Now for the next image, let's see what it is. Okay, the next image was in May. So I had went out to Bombay Beach to see what was going on out there. They have a bunch of art and stuff going on. And I drove out there, and it was, I believe it was a windy day that day, and I was just kind of messing around. And I took a video of the swing, and I put it on my story. They have a swing out there. I tend to jump past stuff, but anyways, they have a swing out there, and I took a video of it, and it's in the water, and there's all these waves going by, and I posted it on my social media, and somebody said, hey, I want to take pictures there, and I says, well, I'm down, but the water's really nasty, so I'll just stand on the shore, and I'll take pictures of you on the swing, and I'll stay over here. So anyways, we go back that day that they wanted to shoot, and the water's completely calm, like just perfectly still, like it's perfect. It was just epic. I got some sick portraits, and then I took some shots with just the 7200 handheld of the swing, and they're just very minimalist, and this is the best one that I had, and it just turned out perfect. I don't think I could have got better conditions there. The golden light and the pastel colors after were epic. Now the next image is from July, late July. Me and my friend Joseph and my friend Andy and his girlfriend and my friend William and his wife Karen, as well as Daniel. I'll put all their links to their Instagrams in the bio. But we had went out to Glacier National Park in Montana, so we got to go up through Wyoming and then up to Glacier. We spent like 3 days out there shooting. We got to see a lot of sheep. We saw a bear. We got some really good images, but it wasn't until the way back I got my most favorite image of the trip. We had stopped in Yellowstone, the Tetons on the way back, and we were planning to camp and shoot sunrise. But there was this huge storm that rolled in, and when we woke up in the morning on like 2 hours of sleep, we we saw that the entire Grand Teton Range was covered in clouds. So at like 6 a.m. in the morning, we just started heading back to California. We ended up stopping in southern Utah at a location I really wanted to hit for a while. And when we got there, there was these just beautiful storm clouds rolling in from, I think they were coming in from like Arizona or Nevada. So when we got to one of the parts where we stopped, we started setting up and taking pictures and talking. All of a sudden it starts dumping rain on us. So we're like, okay, we got to probably head back because we don't want to get all our gear soaked and stuff. So we start heading back. We get like half the way back down the trail and we stop because the rain stopped, and we waited a little bit and we looked at the clouds and they looked like we would have been good. So we're like, okay, let's head back. We didn't come out here all the way for nothing. So we head back, we go to the spot, we realize that's not the spot we need to be at. So we go to the next spot and we get there and there's just all these beautiful storm clouds around us. You'll see the pictures, I'll put some up from before. But anyways, as the sun starts to set, this beautiful rainbow starts to appear. And I'm like, I gotta shoot that rainbow. So I shoot a composition, it's like, okay, it's cool. And then I go to the next one, and I go all the way up to this hill, and there's just these grooves of rocks just running into the valley below. And then beyond that, you see the hills out there that are glowing orange, and there's some water that's blue, and then you got that giant rainbow and the storm clouds right behind it. And it just worked out perfectly. It was one of those images where when you took it in camera, you knew it was going to look good later when you got it back. After that, we went home, and that got rid of all the tiredness, just seeing that. It was amazing. The next picture is from September, so that was a huge jump in between. This one is from Anza Borrego Desert State Park. So I took my friend Selena and her boyfriend George out there, and we also brought my friend Christian as well. So we went out in my Subaru out to this place, and it's about a 4-mile drive from the road to the lookout point. But the road's usually pretty sandy, it's like a wash, and we went through it, and there hasn't been many people out there lately, and it's been kind of dry. So that wash was really, really dry and sandy, and it was really bad. Fortunately enough, my Subaru got all the way through. I was amazed that it actually got through. But we got there. It was dark. We went for sunrise. I grabbed my 70-200 because I had previously shot that. I'll put the picture up, but I previously shot it with like a 15-30 like wide angle image, and I got these amazing skies. So I was like, you know what, I already got amazing skies, I already got these wide angle images. I'm going to shoot just zoomed in. I'm going to try to focus on different compositions and challenge myself, because I find when I challenge myself, I get the best images. I try new stuff, and it works out sometimes, it doesn't work out, but I still learn something, and I get really good images out of it when I challenge myself. So I shot that entire morning on the 70-200. I got some really nice pictures. I'll show some of them on the screen. But they were staying on the ridge off to my left, so I decided to go join them. And when I went over there, I saw this one part of the hill just curving down, and it curved around and came back up, and then it led out to all these like badlands out in the back, and then it was just kind of flat, but all of it was coated with just this golden light, and it was kind of like yellow golden light all the way up to orange out in the open area, and it was so beautiful. Right when I saw that image, I said, this is the image going on my calendar, and that's the one I put on the front of my calendar. But that trip was just so worth it. Next image, October. We went out to Joshua Tree again with my friend Joseph, my friend Daniel, and my other friend Christian. We went out there to shoot. We were looking for a composition. I forget what it was, but it was in one of the campgrounds. But anyways, Joseph has like a little thing against Joshua Tree. He's like, oh, it's overshot, I don't want to shoot there. But he finally decided he actually wanted to go out to Joshua Tree again after years. So we went out, and the skies are all kind of cloudy and gray, but as the sun starts to set, it just opens up just enough, and we get this just insane sunset, just absolutely insane. So I set up on a single composition, which I usually don't do, but I just set up and I just kept shooting that composition over and over and over again. So I got several images throughout the sunset. But anyways, my favorite ones were two of them. So this is a two-part photo. One was at the height of the sunset, and it was just completely red. You got all the rocks glowing orange and blah, blah, blah. And the second one is just after the sun sets and the sky just kind of died out and it was all blue hour, and it just worked out perfectly. So these two images, as you see here, they're both the same exact composition, but one is the sunset, one is the blue hour. And I call them fire and ice. These two photos are just going to go together. I hope I can get them on display together. That would be sick. So anyways, Joseph got blessed with such an epic sunset because he finally decided to go out to Joshua Tree again. Now the next image is from December. So late November, early December, I got to go to Utah, and I got to visit several national parks with my friend Jeremy. He'd never been outside of California, and we went out there and we got to go see a lot of stuff and show him just different parts of the world that he'd never seen. But anyways, one of the mornings for sunrise, we were in Moab, so I got to go over to Arches. And I went over to the famous double arch that everybody shoots. You see it all over Instagram, same composition, everybody shoots this one. So I'm like, I gotta find something different. So I go up inside the arch and I point out looking towards the sunrise instead of pointing looking at the rocks of the double arch or whatever else composition I see all the time. So I'm shooting out, and my goal is to get both the arches above me, but my lens is not wide enough. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself to shoot a panorama of this, and we'll see if it works out. If it doesn't work out, all well. So what I did is I shot as wide as I could. I shot like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. And then after, when I got home, I combined them all into one image, and I got everything in. And the way the light hit the rocks and everything, it just worked out perfectly. I mean, this was epic. The next one was from the next morning, sunrise. Let me just double check. Yeah, the next morning sunrise, December 2nd. I was at Canyonlands National Park, and I was out there with my friend, and it was like 12 degrees that morning. It was crazy cold, the coldest I've seen of the trip, and probably I've seen in my whole life. Yeah, 12 degrees. So anyways, we're out there, it's freezing cold. The sun starts to rise. I'm like shooting a couple compositions. I got this one of this bush off to the side I'm really happy with, and then I shot some other just portrait style. But as the sun's coming up and the rocks are starting to glow orange, I kind of thought, oh, I should check my surroundings, because you never know what else is going on around you, because you kind of get focused. So I look off left, and the sky is lighting up. There's just this one cloud, and it's glowing orange, and the sun's just about to pop up. And I was like, oh my God, I got to shoot this. And there was a couple other photographers there, and they were all looking the other way. And I would have called them to join me, but they were too far away. So I grabbed my tripod, I run 5 feet to my left, I set up in front of this bush, and I shot it, and as the sun popped out, I got all these sun rays coming over the canyons with this little bush and the clouds, and oh my God, it just worked out perfectly. I'm so glad I looked the other way, otherwise I would have never got that shot, and I would have just shot the normal stuff that you get at Canyonlands. So after that, I think I have like 2 images left. So last image was from my last vlog. I had got a couple of requests to do like a composition video / editing video, just explaining my composition and editing techniques. And so I went out to Joshua Tree, and it was completely blue skies out there, and I wasn't hoping for much. But anyways, I'm taking pictures of like my new film cameras, and I'm also, my new film camera, I'm going to be shooting a lot more this next year, so I'm going to try and make videos with that too. I think that would be cool to show how I use it. But anyways, I'm taking pictures of that, getting some videos for different social media stuff, and then the sun starts to set, and all of a sudden all these little wispy clouds appeared in front of where I wanted to shoot. And my goal was to shoot one of those cool stalks. It's a different plant than the ones I shot in Texas, but I just love the way they look. So I found one that lined up perfectly with the rocks and everything. So I started shooting that, and the skies just exploded. Like, amazing. Like, it was absolutely insane, as you can see here. But that image was just perfect. It wasn't technically perfect like the other one, but I mean, it works out. Sometimes you just got to get the shot. So that is it. That is my top images. I have one more bonus one. This one is a film one. I didn't want to include it just because I'm a digital photographer and film's kind of just a side thing. But anyways, I started shooting film because I was given a camera, and I'm very happy with the results I've got from it. Now this image is from Manzanar National Historic Site nearby Mammoth, and it is an old Japanese internment camp from World War II. Now they have I think it's like it's just a historic site, and they have some of the original bunkers there and stuff. And I had avoided going there for a while because I was waiting for the right time, and my dad had wanted to go, so I figured this is the right time. And sure enough, I had my film camera on me. So they have this beautiful structure that was built to honor the people who died there. It's right next to the graveyard. And Ansel Adams has shot this before, so it's not something I created or anything, but I took my film camera and I lined it up with the mountain and I shot it, and I'm extremely happy with this image. I want to get it printed and hanged on my wall. But yeah, this is just a bonus, one of my film shots. I hope you guys liked it. That is all. That is my most favorite images from 2020. I'm extremely excited for what 2021 is going to bring. I'm planning to go back to Florida in 2 months, hoping it works out and there's no car issues or other issues with stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, you're awesome. If you'd consider liking, subscribing, also leave a comment of which image is your favorite, because I'm curious to see what you guys like the most out of those images. Yeah, that's it. I hope to get more videos out in 2021, and I hope to do a lot more with my photography this year. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next time.